Last night I went to my daughter's dance recital. Well, she's in cheerleading or pom, and they consider that dance. So they had their dance routine, and I went to their dance recital. Every children's recital I go to, or a play or something like that, where I see kids putting so much effort into it, and where I see lots of families and support, I cry every single time. I cry almost at the end of every single performance. I cry when I think of all the families that are there supporting their kids. And I cry, one, because I think it's really beautiful that families are coming together and supporting their kids. And like, oh my gosh, I just love how the kids are putting so much effort into their performances. I just love that. I cried at my daughter's track meet. I cry when when I see communities come together and families come together and kids doing well. I cry at that, but I also cry because I didn't have that growing up. And as much work as I've done, which is a lot, I am dedicated to healing. I am dedicated to transformation. As much work as I've done, there's still a small part of me when it's presented to me or mirrored to me that this family community, there is still a small part of me that grieves, that I didn't have that grieves that I was that kid that if I had a performance, nobody was there, or and that which led to me eventually smoking pot and smoking cigarettes, because who cares? Nobody cared enough to come to my things. So, I just went down the path of self-destruction. I cry for that. I grieve it every single time. I was a preschool teacher for 10 years. And I know that I was a preschool teacher because I was healing my inner child, healing that part of me. I like being able to take care of kids because I wasn't taken care of as a kid. So I cry every single time. And I used to say, oh my God, why is this up again and again and again and again, like this wound? Here's the difference. I don't know if the wound will ever go away. I really don't. I don't know if in this lifetime, if that feeling will completely ever go away. It can, it might, but here's the difference. Let's say you have something that just keeps coming up again and again and again. Do you let it impede your life? Now, in the past, what I mean by this is in the past, that energy, that wound of not having support and being all alone as a kid, and being really traumatized and harmed, ran my life. It ran my relationships. It ran how much money I made. It ran every part of me. I was a complete victim to it until I started healing, until I started doing the work. Now I'm not a victim to it. Now I'm just grieving it sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And there is still a small part of me that's like, I wish I had that. I wish I had that as a kid. I would do anything to go back and have like a week, just a week, to feel what it felt like to get that kind of support. And for me, I have had to create that support on my own and continue doing it on my own. Getting married, having a family, having a child, creating amazing friends and beautiful relationships. I created all that. I did that. I did it all on my own. I had to. And something about my path in this life that I chose, I completely believe that 100% believe we choose our life. Every part of it, every single part of it on a soul level, we have chosen, we have co-created it. When you think like that, it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. Because if we created it, which I believe we did, we can uncreate it. So if there is something that you know that keeps getting recycled or keeps coming up, know, one, sorry, I turned off my email. Is it running your life? Is it causing you from going after the things that you want or creating the things that you want? That's the first question. Are you still a victim to it? And that's not a judgment. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's like, well, do you collapse from it? Do you allow it to run you, even if it's small parts of you? That's the first question. And then the second question is, do you work on it? Do you move through it? Do you allow yourself to feel it so that you can grow, so that you can heal? So even though I have this wound, every time I see these things, it comes up, and I grieve that. I grieve not having a family. Even at Christmas, I grieve it. And in a way, it's really beautiful that I can feel my feelings and not stuff it down and allow myself to feel it. But I can have all that and still create the life that I want. So if you have something that keeps coming up again and again and again, it's okay. It's really okay. The only thing we can do is just keep looking at it. All you can do is keep looking at it and having compassion for yourself. There are some of us that have been through times, situations in our life, you're like, oh my God, that's the unthinkable. Whether you could have had an amazing childhood, but something happened or later in a relationship or in a job, and your trauma is different from my trauma. Your upset is different from my upset. And never, ever, ever compare your upset or trauma to someone else's. When people do that, like, well, yes, for example, let's say someone said, you know what, my dad died of cancer when I was 16. However, other people have it way worse. If you say that, however, other people have it way worse, you're minimizing your pain. You're minimizing your experience. We only take on what we can handle. So if someone had their dad die at 16 from cancer, that's what they needed. That's what they needed. That's what they could handle. That was their lesson. And let's say you had, your parents until they were in their 90s, and you had, but you had your own thing. When you minimize your pain, like, oh, however, other people, or people are starving in Africa, when we do that, it minimizes our experience and actually takes us out of the feeling and the healing. You only manifest what you can handle. We are here on Earth School to learn. So for the rest of my life, I may see, when I see a play run by kids, I may cry. I may long. I may long for that. I may long for a mom. I may long for a dad. I don't know if that'll ever go away. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that not going away. It's what I chose. It's what I chose. And it's such a deep wound that maybe it's something I do need to experience for the rest of my life, as long as it doesn't run my decisions for me, as long as it doesn't create power loss in me. It's just, I don't feel sorry for myself. Sometimes I do. I can get weepy and like a little like that, but it's like, but I just feel it. So if you have something in your life that you keep grieving or keeps coming up, it's okay. Look at it. Just continue to look at it. It's when we ignore or let that experience run our decisions for us, or hold us back out of fear. Like if you were hurt by someone in a relationship and then you never get in a relationship again because you're so afraid it's going to happen again, that's letting that experience run you. And you're giving power to that experience, and that person. So be gentle with yourself. Be really, really gentle. The human experience, no one said it's easy. It's beautiful. It's powerful. And there are so many joyful, amazing parts of it, but it's not easy. We all signed up for this. And everybody's path is different. So have compassion for yours. All right, my name is Beth Osmer, and I will see you on the next video.